Do you know what the most expensive coffee in the world is? I'll tell you at the end, but first, let's take the long aromatic road to get there. Because coffee's story isn't just about a drink. It's about empires, revolutions, smuggling, science, art, and the occasional goat doing something very strange on an Ethiopian hillside. A legend in the highlands of Africa. Actually, the most famous origin tale begins in the 9th century with Kaldi, an Ethiopian shepherd. One day, Kaldi noticed his goats behaving oddly, dancing, prancing, and generally acting like they'd been to a rave. The culprit, bright red berries from a certain shrub. Curious, Kaldi tried them himself and felt a rush of energy. He brought the berries to a local monastery, where the monks, skeptical, tossed them into the fire. The roasting beans released an intoxicating aroma, and soon the monks were brewing a dark, invigorating drink to keep them awake during long prayers. Whether or not Kaldi existed, Ethiopia's Kaffa region is indeed the genetic birthplace of Coffea arabica, the species that still dominates global coffee production today. From there, coffee began its slow but unstoppable march across the world. From Arabia to the world, by the 15th century, coffee was being cultivated in Yemen, where Sufi mystics drank it to sustain their nocturnal devotions. The Yemeni port of Mocha, yes, that Mocha, became the first great coffee hub, exporting beans across the Islamic world. Coffee houses, kahvekhane, sprang up in cities like Mecca, Cairo, and Istanbul. These were not just places to drink coffee. They were centers of conversation, music, chess, and political debate. The Ottoman Empire embraced coffee so fully that by the 16th century, it was woven into daily life, and even marriage law. In some regions, a woman could legally divorce her husband if he failed to provide her with enough coffee. Smuggling, colonies, and coffee empires. Arab traders guarded coffee plants fiercely, boiling or roasting beans before export so they couldn't be planted elsewhere. But in the 1600s, Dutch traders smuggled live plants to Java in Indonesia, breaking Arabia's monopoly. Soon, European colonial powers were cultivating coffee in tropical territories. The French in the Caribbean, the Portuguese in Brazil, the Spanish in Central America. Coffee became a colonial cash crop, and with it came the dark history of forced labor and slavery. By the 18th century, Brazil had become the world's largest producer, a title it still holds, built on the backs of enslaved Africans until abolition in 1888. The politics of the cup. Coffee houses became hotbeds of political debate. In 17th century England, they were nicknamed penny universities because, for the price of a cup, you could join debates on science, literature, and politics. The American Revolution was partly brewed in coffee houses, as patriots rejected British tea in favor of coffee after the Boston Tea Party. In Europe, rulers sometimes tried to ban coffee, fearing it encouraged dissent. They were right, but the bans never stuck. How coffee is made. From cherry to cup, coffee starts as a cherry on a shrub. Inside are 2 seeds. The beans. Processing methods shape the flavor. Washed wet process. The fruit is removed from the coffee bean before drying, producing a clean, bright taste. Natural dry process. The whole cherry is dried before the beans are extracted, yielding fruity, wine-like notes. Honey process. A hybrid method where some fruit pulp remains during drying, creating a sweet, complex profile. After drying, beans are roasted. From light highlighting acidity and origin flavors to dark emphasizing bitterness and body, grinding and brewing unlock the volatile compounds that make coffee's aroma so irresistible. Types of coffee beans. Arabica, grown at higher altitudes, prized for nuanced flavors, lower bitterness. Robusta hardier, higher in caffeine, often used in espresso blends for crema and punch. Liberica and Excelsa, rare, with unique fruity or smoky profiles, grown mainly in Southeast Asia. The best growing regions. Coffee thrives in the bean belt, the tropical zone between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Standout regions include Ethiopia, floral tea, like complex; Colombia, balanced, nutty, with caramel sweetness; Kenya, bright acidity, berry notes; Sumatra, earthy, full-bodied, low acidity; Costa Rica and clean citrusy with honey sweetness. Each region's altitude, soil and climate help shape the cup. Traditions around the world. Ethiopian coffee ceremony, a slow, communal ritual involving roasting, grinding, and brewing in a jebina pot. Turkish coffee, finely ground coffee simmered in a sezvi, served unfiltered, often with fortune-telling from the grounds. Italian espresso culture, quick intense shots consumed standing at a bar. Scandinavian caf, light roasts, often brewed in large batches for long lingering conversations. The birth of espresso. Espresso, the foundation of cappuccinos, lattes, and macchiatos, was born in Italy in the early 20th century. Luigi Bezzera patented a machine in 1901 that forced hot water through coffee grounds under pressure, producing a concentrated shot in seconds. This was revolutionary. Coffee could now be made to order, fast, with a rich crema on top. Espresso culture spread worldwide, shaping the modern cafe. Coffee and modern politics. Today, coffee is a $100 billion global industry, employing millions, but it's also at the center of debates about fair trade, climate change, and sustainability. Rising temperatures threaten coffee crops, pushing farmers to higher altitudes. Fair trade and direct trade models aim to give growers a better share of profits. But the industry still struggles with inequality. The big reveal: the world's most expensive coffee. And now, the cup you've been waiting for. The most expensive coffee in the world is often cited as Kopi Luwak, from Indonesia. It's made from beans eaten and excreted by the Asian palm civet, whose digestive enzymes alter the bean's chemistry, producing a smoother, less acidic brew. Genuine, ethically sourced Kopi Luwak can sell for over $500 per pound, though it's controversial due to animal welfare concerns. In recent years, contenders like Black Ivory coffee from Thailand, processed through elephants, and ultra-rare Panama geisha beans have challenged Kopi Luwak's crown, fetching astronomical prices at auction. But whether it's a civet's digestive tract or a Panamanian mountaintop, the real magic of coffee isn't in its price tag. It's in the centuries-long journey from a goat's jittery dance to the cup in your hand.
Like, share, subscribe.